We all know that vocals are the most important part of every song. So if you get them right, pretty much half the mix is already done. So I want to show you how I mix vocals, and hopefully you can take some ideas from it and apply it to your songs. Now the track we're going to use in this video is called Cold as Ice. It's a track I co-produced and mixed for TV and licensing. It sounds like this. Let me show you the chorus. So as you can hear, this track is quite orchestral. It has a really soft voice and really hard-hitting drums. So mixing the vocals was quite a challenge because they have to come through the mix, even though they're quite soft and mellow and ethereal. So let me solo the vocals. And to show you everything I did, I'm gonna remove all the plugins and then activate them one by one. Let me start with the first plugin. Now, one of the biggest debates in the mix engineering world is should you EQ before or after compression, and should you cut or should you boost? Now, in my case, this is a personal choice. I always like to cut first, like the first plugin on the chain, as you can see right now. This is my first plugin. I always cut before I do anything else. In this case, I'm going to be using a dynamic EQ because I don't like to use static for the main vocals. You can see these 4 bands, 5 actually, are the ones I'm going to be using. First one is a high pass around 100 Hertz. Then we have a cut around 345. I do that to make it a little bit cleaner. Then we have 829. You know, they usually always cut around 1000, 1K. But in this case, this particular vocal, I needed 829, not 1K. You know, it always varies from track to track. And then I have 2K pretty much and 4.1K. So let me show you a before and after with and without the EQ.
Killer. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice.
Right now, since the volume is so low, the one thing you will actually notice, I'm sure, is this band here, which is cleaning up the low end. It's making everything tidy and tight. It's taking away some of the boominess as well. The magic of using a dynamic EQ is sometimes, as you can see, these frequencies I'm cutting, they're not so strong, so I wouldn't need to cut them, but at times I do need to cut them. So this is why I'm using dynamic, because I'm only cutting when I need to. The rest of the time, everything is still there, you know. Okay, right after EQ, I always like to use some saturation, some preamp. In this case, I'm using the London one by Slate. Why am I using this? Mostly to add some harmonics, to bring up all the nice things in the vocals. Let me show you a before and after.
Am I the villain? Cold-blooded killer. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice.
So as you can see, only by using this plugin, the vocals sound richer, sound fuller, sound bigger. It sounds more airy as well because it's bringing up the top end as well, the harmonics. Let's give it another listen so you can check the before and after again.
Am I the villain? Cold-blooded killer. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice.
Now, the third plugin is finally a compressor. I'm using this one because it has a really nice attack and release, perfect for what I need for this particular track. So let's do the before and after again.
Am I the villain? Cold-blooded killer. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice.
Now, I think it's a good time to check the vocals within the entire track and using only these 3 plugins, and then we're gonna keep going with this one, mostly so we don't lose focus of the entire track, right? So I'm gonna uninstall this and mute all these plugins, so I'm gonna play with them and then without. So when we listen with the entire mix, it doesn't make much of a change. Maybe just a little bit of volume because of the compressor, but that's okay. That's okay because we still have quite a bit to go to get it to the point we want. So right after the first compressor, I normally use a de-esser, in this case by Aosis.
I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice.
So as you can see, we're not doing much because we don't want to remove all the S's and all the T's from the track. Because in the end, it's like I always like to say, it's better to de-ess or compress in multiple stages, not just doing everything at once, because that's not going to sound natural. And what we want with every instrument, pianos, strings, vocals, drums, we want them to sound natural. So in my experience, the best way to achieve that is doing a little bit of compression here and then a little bit more, instead of doing tons of compression all at once with just one plugin. And speaking of compression, now we have our second compressor. In this case, it's a 1176 simulation, and then it's followed by a Neve style EQ. So again, let's solo the vocals and let's activate this plugin and then this one.
Am I the villain? Cold-blooded killer. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice. Am I the villain? Cold-blooded killer. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice.
So that was a before and after the 1176 and the Neve style EQ. And as you can see, 1176 makes the vocals more upfront, makes it more creamy, gives them that like analog type of sound that we all love, especially in vocals. And then of course the EQ is doing some top end and cutting again around 360, because after all the compression and after all the saturation, it's starting to add up again. So, you know, we need to cut a little bit more. That's fine. So that's the main vocal chain, because a lot of other stuff we're doing on the aux channels. We're doing some more power saturation, more compression, delay, and reverb. So let's see what we have on the aux channels. The first one, we have some parallel saturation. Always cleaning up the low end a little bit and then using this plugin. With this one, I'm not worried about the stage gaining because I'm doing that from the fader itself. I'm always adjusting this knob until it's almost saturated. and then adjusting this to see how much of the parallel saturation I want. Let's see with and without.
Am I the villain? Cold-blooded killer. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice.
So as you can see, it's a subtle change, but it helped us to get the vocal more upfront. The same is going to happen with the parallel compression. In this case, I'm using LA2A, and I'm using the same system. I'm not worrying about the stage gaining because I'm doing that from the fader itself. And this is how it sounds before and after.
Am I the villain? Cold-blooded killer. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice.
This might be a more noticeable change because it's also adding volume. I'm not always relying on whatever's going on here for the volume, because when it comes to volume for the vocals, I always like to rely a little bit on this and a little bit of what's going on the auxes. For no particular reason, to be honest. I'm just used to doing that. So let's hear all of this in context.
Am I the villain? Cold-blooded killer. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice.
So now the vocals are pretty much there. They are up front, they have some decent volume, we can actually hear them. The main problem is they are a bit detached from the music. So how are we gonna fix that? That's where delay and reverb comes in. Let me solo the vocals again and go through both aux channels.
Am I the villain? Cold-blooded killer. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart is cold as ice.
So that's the delay. I'm using D16 by a repeater. You can see the settings here, but I think the most important one is the ping pong one. The reason why I'm using ping pong is because I don't want the delay to be in the middle of the track. That's where the vocals sit, and I want to reserve that spot just for the vocals. That's why I'm sending it to the sides, so it's out of the way. And now we have the reverb. Let's check it out.
Am I the villain? Cold-blooded killer. I'm not known for playing nice. They say my heart.
So for reverbs, I'm using the Verb Suite by Slate. You can check the settings here. Pretty standard reverb, to be honest. So now that we saw everything together, let's hear it in context.
Am I the villain? Cold-blooded killer. I'm not known for playing nice.
So overall, that's mostly how I mix my vocals. I might change, obviously, the moves I'm making on the EQ or the amount of compression I'm doing. But in the end, it tends to be something similar across every single track I mix. Now, one final thought I wanted to leave you with is just because I do this doesn't mean it works for every single track or you should be doing this. Not two songs are the same, not two vocal tracks or drum tracks are the same. So whatever I'm doing here, it works for this track in particular and not for any other track that I mixed. So always remember that I'm not giving you a foolproof way to mix your vocals. I'm just showing you what I did, and hopefully you can say, oh, I never thought of that, so I'm gonna try it. Or that looks interesting, I'm gonna try that. Just pick and choose whatever works for your track. Take ideas from this and apply them, see if they work. If they don't, that's fine. That's just mixing. Anyways, thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you find it useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any question or things that you want me to talk about in my next few videos, just leave me a comment and I'll do it for you.